Welcome back to the South Sudan National Participation Institute. Those are the children of African Inland Church, Gudele West in Juba, South Sudan. And our topic today is going to be about education. And in this part of education, we're going to talk about children in particular. So we're going to divide our topic into mainly three parts. The first part is going to talk about moral intelligence, and the second part is going to talk about the eight learning multiple intelligences, and then the third part is going to talk about the values that we try to inculcate in our children so that they grow up into mature adults that can actually encompass all of the things we're going to talk about. So, and this is going to be part one of this topic. And part two is going to talk about the relationships between the children and the parents. So to start off our topic, we just want to define what a child is. A child, by definition, is a young human being, whether that is a daughter or a son. So as such, we need to treat our children as future adults. So that is a very important point there. And in this juncture, I just want to thank and commend all the parents that have actually helped in the growth of their children, the children who have grown up into adults and who are kind of successful in one way or another. So this is a very big task because for the most part it deals with the mind and with the body, the two things, the nature and the nurture of the child. And all starts in the mind or in the brain of the child. But in order to set these things up in the brain of the child, the foundation must be strong. And the foundation usually starts at home, and then from home it goes to the school and the community and the society at large. So that is the first part of the presentation, which is just briefly defining what a child is. The second part now, we're going to talk about the moral intelligences. You know, in order for a person, for a child to grow into a mature adult, a very responsible adult, and a very successful adult, depending on our own definition of success, the child must encompass 7 moral intelligences. And the 3 important ones are actually empathy, self-control, and self-conscience. Those are very important because this is what will actually bring the rest of the moral intelligences like respect, kindness, tolerance, and fairness. So what is empathy? Empathy is defined as identifying with a feeling of other people's concerns. Like in other words, the child must be able to identify with the feelings and the concerns of other people around him or around her, whether it is in the family, in the school, in the community, or in the society at large. So sensitivity, in other words. And then the second one is conscience, and that means knowing the right and decent thing or the right way to act from acting in the wrong way. So this is also another important aspect of the moral intelligence. And then the third one is the self-control. So in order for a person, for a child to act in a reasonable way in the society, in the family, in the community, self-control is very important. We cannot just allow our children to do whatever they want to do or to just cause outbursts in public or in the family. So self-control as a result is very important. And of course, out of this, as was mentioned earlier, then comes respect, kindness, tolerance, and fairness. So these are very important intelligences. And if a child encompasses all of the above, then we will see that the child has integrity, the child has the idea or the concept of justice in his dealings in the community or at home or in the school. And then the child also exercises altruism. In other words, the child is very sensitive to his or her surroundings. And then the moral courage, to say, yes, this is wrong in a polite way, and this is right, and this is my position. So that is in brief about the moral intelligences. And these things can actually start from home. We cannot start this thing anywhere else. They say the first 5 years of a child are the most critical. So if we are not able to instill this moral intelligences in our children at this very young age, then by the time they pass this age, then it will be very difficult to actually instill these moral intelligences in our children. So that is why it is also important for parents to be aware about these aspects of their children's lives. And then the other thing that we are going to move to is the 8 learning multiple intelligences. Sometimes as parents or as caregivers or as educators, we don't emphasize on those intelligence. Because even though children are young adults, but they are not exactly like us, the parents or the teachers. Each one is different in their own right. So each child has their own gifts and talents and skills and experiences. And as a result, they also learn differently. We cannot expect our children to be like us or like our teachers or like the role models that we see, whether in the society, on the television, and so on. But they are different human beings in their own rights. Therefore, knowing the 8 multiple intelligences are very important. And here we're going to run quickly on all of these 8 intelligences. The first one is the word smart. In other words, the verbal and linguistic intelligence. And in this way, the children or the student learn through reading, through writing, discussing issues, communicates effectively, have good vocabulary, write clearly, spells easily, and think in words terms. That is the first one, which is the word smart, or the intelligence of, as we mentioned it here, the word smart, or the verbal or linguistic intelligence. The second intelligence is the logic or mathematical intelligence. The children in this who exhibit this kind of intelligence, they think in numbers, patterns, and algorithms. They think clearly and analytically. They also learn by appeal to logic, use abstract symbols, solve logic problems easily, and are good in math. So this is the second intelligence, the logical and mathematical intelligence. The third intelligence is the nature smart. In other words, they are naturalists. The children in this category are naturalists. They have or they exhibit natural intelligence. And in this way, they are aware of their natural surroundings. They are good at sorting and classifying items, have keen observational skills, understand natural phenomena. They also care about animals and gardening. That is the naturalist intelligence. And then the next intelligence is the body smart, or the bodily or kinesthetic intelligence. And in these aspects, the children are highly coordinated. They use gestures and body language effectively. They take things apart and fix them. And they learn through hands-on activities, like fixing things. They also enjoy acting and role-playing, as well as enjoying dancing and athleticism. And then we're going to move to the other intelligence, which is the self-smart. That means intrapersonal. So there are two differences here. The intrapersonal, that means the person is concerned about him or herself. And then the other one, the interpersonal, which is the person easily collaborates or cooperates with others. But in these aspects of intelligence, we are talking about the intrapersonal. And that means the person is self-smart. In other words, they are aware of themselves. And in this category here, the child need time to process information. You know, sometimes other children take more time to process information, and they may be actually misunderstood for being dull or so. So the children who are intrapersonal, they need time to process information. They think about their own thinking, you know. After thinking about the thought, and then they also digest it, they think about it, and then they reach a reasonable conclusion. And then they also have strong opinions and beliefs. They also know themselves very well, and they like quiet times alone. So that's why sometimes when our kids need some privacy, sometime we need to give them that, knowing that they're doing the right thing. And then we come to the next one, which is the people smart, or interpersonal intelligence. And in this aspect, the child make and maintain friends easily, understands and respects others, lead and organize others, resolve conflicts, learn by interacting with others, like to work and be with others. So this is another aspect of the intelligence. And the other aspect is the music smart. In other words, the children are musical or arithmetic intelligence. They are intelligent in those aspects. And in this aspect, the children demonstrate a good sense of rhythm and melody. They like to sing, chant, and rap, enjoy listening to music, read and write music, learn through music and lyrics, and enjoy creating music. And then the next intelligence is the visual spatial intelligence. In other words, these are the kids that are art or space smart. And in this category, the children or the people think in pictures and images, are good with spatial relations or making connections, have a good eye for detail and color, see solutions to problems, learn through visuals, like to draw and create. So those are the 8 intelligences. And a person can actually exhibit more than one intelligence. So that's why as parents or as educators, we should allow our children to explore, of course, through guidance, to do the right thing, to pick the right courses in school or in the university or in the college, to pick the right sporting activity, and so on. Because sometimes we as parents or as educators, we tend to direct our children or expect them to do exactly what we think. But after knowing that, you know, as humans and as children, we have all these kinds of intelligence, or we exhibit more or some of those more than others, then this will make us aware that we need to pay attention to our children and the way they learn. And of course, if we are able to direct them or guide them in the right way, when they grow up, they will not be able to be alienated or find it difficult to function in our societies. And after knowing all these things, then this will let the children to choose the values that they want to live in their lives. Because without this foundation, then the children will just live a chaotic life. They can be easily swayed to do things by others, and in this way they will not have a very strong foundation, or they will not have values that will give them that foundation. And of course, the values are very important, and some of these values can actually be introduced at home or at school or in the society, but some of these values can actually be developed by the child or the individual alone. And I will just give some of the examples to these values. For example, friendship, liking education, involvement in the community, the desire to saving money for the future, or the importance of the family for the child, or the spirit of cooperation, the spirit of truth, the spirit of fairness, and the consciousness about a healthy living. These are some of the values that human beings and especially children need to know from a very young age, because this is very important for their adulthood life. So today I just make this quick run of these vast but yet very important topics, and I hope that we have enjoyed the topics that are discussed, and then I hope some of us who have children or even the adults can be able to learn from this presentation. Before we end, we're going to play another segment of music, and then we will end here. So please stay tuned. Yes, that was Queen Z from South Sudan. She was talking about her pride and origin of South Sudan, and she's also encouraging one nation, one people. So thank you for your time, and we hope to see you again in the near future on part 2 of our presentation about the relationships between children and their parents. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.